On the outskirts of town, in a neighborhood long abandoned, stood a crumbling house. Its windows were shattered, the roof sagging, and vines crawled up its walls like skeletal fingers. People whispered about the place, saying it was cursed, that no one who entered ever returned. But those were just stories, right? One night, a group of teenagers, eager to test their courage, ventured into the forgotten home. They laughed nervously as they pushed the heavy, creaking door open, the air thick with dust and decay. The moonlight barely reached the darkened corners of the room, casting long shadows across the floor. "Nothing scary about this place," one of them muttered, though his voice trembled. They spread out, exploring the dark hallways. As they passed old, broken furniture and faded family portraits, the sense of unease grew. It was as if the house itself was alive, watching them. Suddenly, a soft noise echoed from upstairs, a faint whisper like a child's voice calling out. The group froze. "Did you hear that?" one asked, eyes wide. They nodded silently, their bravery fading with each second. They couldn't leave now. Something was calling them. They climbed the creaky staircase, each step heavier than the last. At the top of the stairs stood a door slightly ajar. The sound was coming from inside. With a trembling hand, one of them pushed it open. Inside was a room, dimly lit by the moon filtering through cracked windows. In the center stood a little girl, ghostly pale with long dark hair covering her face. She clutched a broken doll in her hand, her dress torn and dirty. Behind her, looming in the shadows, was a tall, hollow-eyed man, his decayed face twisted into a grim expression. The girl looked up, her dark, empty eyes meeting theirs. "Help us," she whispered, in a voice so soft it sent chills down their spines. Before they could react, the door slammed shut behind them. The man stepped forward, his decayed fingers reaching out, and the girl's face twisted into a grin, her eyes glowing faintly in the dark. "You can never leave," she whispered, her voice echoing in their heads. The room grew colder, the walls seeming to close in. The man moved closer, his shadow swallowing the room in darkness. The teenagers tried to scream, to move, but their bodies wouldn't obey. The house had claimed them. The next morning, the house stood as it always had, silent and forgotten. But now, if you listen closely, you can hear the faint whispers of new voices inside, lost souls joining the others trapped in the cursed home. And if you're brave enough to enter, the little girl and her ghostly protector will be waiting for you, just like they've been waiting for years.